Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive
Ooh, a deep dive.
into the world of autism,
Okay.
but not the one you might be thinking of.
Oh, interesting.
We're going beyond the stereotypes today
Okay.
and diving into
I like where this is going.
non-stereotypical autism.
I'm all ears.
You know, those individuals who might not fit that typical picture of autism.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by this already.
And we've got some great research that really sheds light on this.
Awesome.
This often misunderstood aspect of ASD.
Yeah.
I think it's going to challenge some assumptions, and I'm really excited to unpack all of this with you today.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people listening are probably going to find this quite intriguing.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the most important things to understand is this concept of masking,
Okay.
or how some individuals become incredibly adept at appearing neurotypical,
Wow.
even if they are experiencing the world very differently.
That's kind of like they're putting on a performance almost,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a chameleon blending into its surroundings.
That's a great analogy.
It is.
And it's often so effective that it can lead to misdiagnoses or a lack of understanding from those around them.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Right.
So before we get too deep into masking,
Sure.
could we maybe take a step back and define what exactly autism spectrum disorder is,
Yeah, of course.
for those who might be less familiar?
So at its core,
Okay.
ASD is a neurodevelopmental condition,
Okay.
meaning it affects how the brain develops and functions, impacting things like social interactions, communication behavior.
Gotcha.
And the term spectrum is really key here because it emphasizes the wide range of symptoms and abilities.
Right.
No two people with autism are exactly alike.
Yeah.
In fact, did you know that recent studies suggest that
What's that?
at least 1 in 34 8-year-old children in the U.S. are on the autism spectrum?
Wow, that's a much higher number than I would have guessed.
It is a surprising statistic for a lot of people.
So with such a diverse range of experiences, it makes sense that there would be many individuals who don't fit that stereotypical image of autism.
Absolutely. This is where the concept of non-stereotypical autism comes in.
Great.
For example,
Yeah.
many individuals with autism possess average or above average intelligence. So imagine a person who excels in academics,
Okay.
articulates their thoughts with ease, yet still struggles with the social nuances and sensory overload that can come with autism.
Right.
This can make it harder for them to be understood
Oh, I see what you're saying.
because people might think, well, they're so smart. How could they possibly be autistic?
Yeah, it's a case of appearances being deceiving.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm curious, what are some other traits that might be present in someone with non-stereotypical autism?
Well, social anxiety is a big one.
Okay.
You might see someone who appears perfectly social on the surface,
Yeah.
engaging in conversations,
Yeah.
even attending social gatherings.
Right.
But beneath that seemingly comfortable exterior, they could be experiencing immense anxiety.
So they might be going through a lot more internally than they let on.
Precisely.
Wow.
They might be meticulously planning conversations in their head,
Really?
rehearsing responses,
Wow.
or battling intense sensory overload from the environment.
Yeah.
And the effort it takes to manage these situations can be incredibly draining.
It's like they've developed a whole separate persona to navigate the world,
Yeah,
which is fascinating and sad at the same time.
it is.
Yeah.
And then there are sensory sensitivities, another area where masking comes into play.
Oh, yes, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
It's like their senses are heightened, right?
That's right. But they've often learned to manage these sensations in public.
Okay.
They might wear noise-canceling headphones,
Makes sense.
choose seats away from crowds, or have other coping mechanisms that aren't obvious to others.
Oh, so they're kind of doing all these things behind the scenes.
Yeah,
It kind of-
exactly.
Right.
Like, imagine trying to have a conversation in a bustling restaurant.
Oh.
While every clinking dish and murmuring voice feels amplified tenfold,
Oh, wow.
that's the reality for many people with sensory sensitivities.
That's a powerful image.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about how differently someone might be experiencing the world,
Right.
even if they appear outwardly composed.
That's a good point.
What about executive functioning?
Yeah.
I've heard that term mentioned in relation to autism.
That's another crucial aspect to understand.
Okay.
Executive functioning refers to a set of cognitive skills that help us plan, organize, manage our time-start tasks.
Okay.
It's like the brain's management system.
Gotcha.
And many individuals with autism, even those with high intelligence, might struggle with these skills.
So even though they might be incredibly bright and capable in other areas, tasks that require planning and organization might pose a significant challenge.
Exactly. They might have difficulty meeting deadlines,
Oh, that's tough.
keeping their belongings organized, or remembering appointments.
So what we're seeing here
Yeah.
is that the stereotypical image of autism, often portrayed in media, doesn't always capture the full reality,
Definitely.
especially for those who are particularly adept at blending in.
It really doesn't. And that's why it's crucial for us to understand the full spectrum of autism,
Yeah.
including these non-stereotypical presentations.
Okay.
Recognizing this diversity allows us to better support and accommodate individuals with autism.
Yeah.
After all, it's about celebrating their unique strengths and challenges, not trying to fit everyone into a single box.
Beautifully said.
Thanks.
And I have a feeling this is just the tip of the iceberg.
I think so too.
Let's dive into the implications of these often hidden struggles when we come back. As we delve deeper into these non-stereotypical presentations of autism, it makes you realize just how much we might be misinterpreting people's behavior.
It's true. And the research you've gathered really highlights
Oh.
the potential consequences of this lack of understanding.
Like what kinds of consequences?
Well, for starters, they might be misdiagnosed or not diagnosed at all.
Oh, wow.
Meaning they miss out on essential support and accommodations. Imagine going through life feeling like something is different, but not having a framework to understand your own experiences.
Yeah, that must be incredibly isolating.
It is.
And it's not just about formal diagnoses, right? It's also about how society perceives and interacts with individuals who don't fit that narrow mold.
Absolutely. If we as a society only recognize a limited view of autism, we create barriers for those who don't conform to those expectations.
Right.
They might feel pressured to mask their true selves to fit in, leading to a sense of never truly belonging.
It's heartbreaking to think about the emotional toll that takes.
Yeah, it is.
One of the sources mentioned the autism tax.
Oh, yeah.
What does that refer to?
So the autism tax refers to the additional costs and challenges that individuals with autism often face throughout their lives. And this can be financial, like the cost of therapy or specialized educational resources. But it also extends to the social, emotional, and even physical aspects of their lives. So it's not just about money.
No.
It's about the cumulative burden of navigating a world that's not always designed for their needs.
Precisely. And for those who are masking their autistic traits, this tax can be even heavier.
Wow.
Imagine constantly having to calculate and adjust your behavior to meet social expectations.
Oh, gosh.
It's exhausting.
It's almost like they're paying a hidden price for trying to fit in, a price that most people aren't even aware of.
Exactly. They might experience burnout anxiety or even depression from constantly masking.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Some describe it as feeling like they're living a double life.
Really?
Never truly able to be their authentic selves.
So how do we shift this narrative and create a more inclusive environment for everyone on the autism spectrum?
Right.
Regardless of how their autism manifests.
Well, it starts with awareness.
We need to educate ourselves and others about the diverse ways autism can present. The more we understand the spectrum, the better equipped we are to recognize, support, and accommodate individuals with autism.
So it's about challenging our assumptions.
Absolutely.
And being open to the fact that autism doesn't look the same in everyone.
Absolutely. And it's about creating spaces where individuals with autism feel safe to be themselves without the pressure to mask or conform. This could involve advocating for sensory-friendly environments, flexible work arrangements, or simply being more understanding and patient in our interactions.
I like that.
Little changes can make a big difference.
You mentioned the importance of advocating for sensory-friendly environments.
Yeah.
Can you give an example of what that might look like?
Certainly imagine a movie theater that offers sensory-friendly screenings. They might dim the lights, lower the volume, and create a designated quiet area for those who need a break from the stimulation.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Or think about a grocery store that reserves a specific hour for sensory-sensitive shopping, reducing noise and crowds.
Interesting.
These seemingly small adjustments can make a huge difference in the lives of autistic individuals and their families.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Creating these inclusive spaces takes intentionality.
It does.
But the impact is undeniable.
Yeah.
Our sources also touched on the importance of self-advocacy for individuals with autism.
Yes.
What does that entail?
Self-advocacy is all about empowering individuals with autism to understand their rights, communicate their needs, and advocate for themselves in various settings.
So it's about giving them the tools and the confidence.
Exactly.
To navigate a world that might not always be understanding or accommodating.
Exactly. It could be as simple as a child with autism learning to express their need for a break in a noisy classroom.
Okay.
Or an adult advocating for flexible work hours to manage their sensory sensitivities. It's about fostering a culture where their voices are heard and their needs are respected.
Empowering people to advocate for themselves is so important.
It is.
Reminds me of something we discussed earlier, the fact that autism is often underdiagnosed in women.
Right.
Could you talk a little bit more about the unique challenges women on the autism spectrum face?
Absolutely. Historically, autism has been underdiagnosed in women often because they present differently than men.
Okay.
They might be better at masking their autistic traits or have interests and behaviors that align more closely with societal expectations for women.
So it's like they're even more adept at blending in.
You could say that.
Making it harder to recognize their autism.
And this can lead to delayed diagnoses, misdiagnoses, and a lack of appropriate support.
Wow.
It's crucial to recognize that autism can manifest differently in women and men and ensure they receive the same level of understanding and support.
What are some of the specific challenges women with autism might encounter?
Well, research suggests that women on the spectrum experience higher rates of anxiety and depression.
Oh, wow.
Often stemming from the pressure to conform to societal expectations. They might also face challenges in romantic relationships, especially if their partners don't understand or recognize their autistic traits.
It sounds like navigating social dynamics and expectations can be a constant source of stress and anxiety for women with autism.
It can be, and it's essential to acknowledge that burden and provide them with the support and resources they need to thrive.
Yeah.
We need to move beyond outdated assumptions and recognize that autism in women can look very different from the traditional stereotypes.
This deep dive has been truly eye-opening. It's clear that we need to rethink our understanding of autism and challenge those ingrained stereotypes.
I agree. The more we learn about the spectrum, the more we realize how much diversity exists within the autistic community.
Well, we'll be back in a moment to wrap up our deep dive and leave our listener with some food for thought. We're back, and this conversation has really shifted my perspective on autism. It's not just about awareness. It's about truly understanding and appreciating the incredible diversity within the autistic community.
It's been a fascinating exploration for me as well.
Yeah.
And one of the most crucial takeaways, I think,
what's up?
is the importance of moving beyond stereotypes.
Right.
And recognizing that autism can manifest in countless ways.
As we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I keep coming back to this idea of masking
Right.
and the impact it has on individuals with autism. We've talked about the potential consequences, but I'm wondering if there's a way to create a world where masking isn't necessary.
Yeah.
Is that even possible?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think it gets to the heart of what we've been discussing.
Okay.
While masking can be a helpful coping mechanism in certain situations, it shouldn't be the price of admission for acceptance.
Yeah, I like that.
We need to create environments where autistic individuals feel safe and comfortable being their authentic selves.
Right.
Without the pressure to conform to neurotypical expectations.
So it's about shifting societal norms.
Absolutely.
And fostering a culture of genuine acceptance and understanding.
It starts with education, challenging our own preconceived notions about autism.
Right.
And being open to learning from the experiences of autistic individuals.
So much of what we've discussed today highlights the importance of listening to autistic voices.
Yeah.
Amplifying their perspectives.
For sure.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to be a better ally to the autistic community?
I would say start by simply listening.
Okay.
Listen to the stories and experiences of autistic individuals. Read books and articles written by autistic authors. Seek out their perspectives and learn from their insights.
Yeah.
There are so many resources available today that offer a window into the diverse world of autism.
It's about moving beyond awareness and into action.
Yeah.
Educating ourselves, advocating for inclusive policies.
Yeah.
And challenging those outdated stereotypes whenever we encounter them.
And remember that autistic traits, even those that might seem different or unusual from a neurotypical perspective, are valuable and contribute to the richness of human diversity.
That's a beautiful way to put it, celebrating neurodiversity.
Precisely.
Not trying to erase it.
Each person on the autism spectrum has unique strengths, talents, and perspectives to offer.
Right.
Let's embrace those differences and create a world where everyone feels seen, valued, and respected for who they truly are.
That's a powerful message to leave our listeners with.
Yeah, I think so.
As we conclude this deep dive, I encourage you to continue exploring this topic and challenge your own assumptions about autism. Remember, true understanding starts with listening, learning, and embracing the beautiful complexity of the human experience. Thanks for joining us on this journey.